The evil Dr. Doom is still on the loose. Better bring the thing. Bring on the Human Torch. His flame-on power defeats Doom's energy force. Then stretch it to the limit with Bend and Stretch Mr. Fantastic. The Invisible Woman blasts back, and the Human Torch fires away. Separate, they're fantastic. Together, they are the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four action figures.
Hello gang, and welcome to Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's most fantastic action figure video podcast. Today we're going to talk all about how to build the ultimate Fantastic Four comic book display. The new movie is just around the corner. Everyone's getting hyped for Fantastic Four, and that includes me as well. So let me tell you about all the Marvel Legends and a few other figures you can get to make the ultimate display. So first of all, we got a few versions of the Fantastic Four from Marvel Legends. Arguably the best is one that came out quite a while ago. It's the Walgreens set. So I'm going to try and compare these all next to each other as we go along, each individual character. So for the Human Torch, we got the Walgreens Fantastic Four Human Torch in full flame-on mode, and he looks absolutely terrific. Going next to him, we have the Super Skrull Johnny Storm. I actually really love the black and blue costume with the piping. Little details on the boots look really good, but what he's missing, of course, is a full flame-on form. So this one loses a few points. And then we've got the more modern retro Johnny Storm. And this one, actually, you kind of get the best of both worlds. You've got Johnny Storm in his full flame-on Human Torch mode. That's real nice, and also it's got kind of the cross-hatching on it that gives a real retro kind of feel. Or there's another Johnny Storm, which is a Marvel Pulse exclusive, I think it was, which was partially flaming on, which gives a really nice sort of transition. I think that I like the blue and white of the retro figures, but ultimately there's a certain retro charm that comes from the old Walgreens ones with the black and blue. Of course, there are a few different versions you can get if you want to step outside the Marvel Legends box and go for the Mezco. The Mezco Fantastic Four set is really expensive, and it does have its flaws. The Johnny Storm, they weren't going to throw in a fifth figure, so you could have flame on and flame off. So instead, they kind of combined them. He's got the blue costume, but then a whole bunch of flame effects and flame hands and head. It's kind of a compromise. When you're spending a lot of money, you don't really want to compromise. So ultimately, I think my go-to Johnny Storm would actually be the Walgreens Marvel Legend that has the more modern kind of look to him with some nice flaming fire effects. You pair that with the flame effects from the Mezco, then you got your ultimate Human Torch. Then we got the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, and the Walgreens one has a nice looking face, but it kind of shows its age because it was of its time for Marvel Legends. But what she does have is beautiful half translucent sort of arms, and I think legs as well maybe. It might just be the arms, I don't have her in front of me, but that effect is something that the Marvel Legends only did once. But it looked real nice, because then you've got the Super Skrull Wave one, which arguably has the best head, I think. It's a bit of a super glamorous kind of look. Sue Storm took some time to put her makeup on before saving the Earth, but the results are a decent-looking Invisible Woman. And then finally, we've got the retro Sue Storm, which a lot of people did quite malign. The face sculpt, it doesn't really do her too many favors. It's not too complimentary, I don't think. It's not terrible. It's just not the most elegant looking Sue Storm. But they do have a fix for that in the retro wave by giving us a completely translucent Invisible Woman. That's real nice, actually. And then, of course, like with Johnny Storm, you got the Mezco, who has some lovely features, but is a pretty basic Mezco figure. But her invisible effects and shield, that works real well. So again, if you want the ultimate Sue Storm, I'd probably go for maybe the completely invisible one, because it's a fun gimmick, and then throw on some of the Mezco power effects. That's a real nice look. But dang it, now that I think about it, that Walgreens one with the semi-translucent limbs, whew, that looks real nice. Then we have Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and the Walgreens. Oh, that gave us the bendy wire arms, something that we should have been having all throughout the line, but maybe they went, you know what, that was actually quite expensive. We're not going to do that again until the movie comes out. But this Reed, you don't get more classic than this version, with those long stretchy arms. looks phenomenal. Going over to the Super Skrull wave, yeah, not so much. Beardy Reed has kind of a cool daddy sort of look to him, but he's just got these oogly, stretchy fingers. Like, what kind of a diddler superpower is this that they're trying to do? Terrible. That was Marvel Legends at their worst there. They were like, what's the cheapest way that we can show his powers? We'll give him long fingers. Okay, guys, thanks for that, I guess. And then we've got the retro Reed Richards, who is similar with the long, stretchy fingers. Like, wow, guys, you really did that twice? What he does have going for him, though, is a removable lab coat, which I do rather like. And then, of course, we got the Mezco Reed, which I think is ultimately the absolute best one you can get because they go ham on his stretching abilities. A full removable stretchy torso. Like, that's fantastic, as the name implies. With a stretchy neck as well, limbs to go. That's just, yeah, if you want an elasticated Reed Richards, that's the ultimate one, certainly. But if you want to stick with Marvel Legends, 100%, you got the Walgreens Fantastic Four one, which still, for the comic figures, I don't think has been beaten. And then finally, you got the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. And this is one that's pretty much great all across the board. It's just whichever aesthetic you want to go for. So the original Walgreens one, arguably the best, I think. He just looks wonderful. Marvel Legends at their best, giving us a big, thick, heavy, chunky figure that also has great articulation as well. 2 different heads. I really do love this thing. Then for the Super Skrull one, it's pretty much the same figure. Slightly different paint job, and the same can be said for the retro one, which has a bit more of a cartoony sort of aesthetic, a brighter sort of orange. I'm really torn as to whether or not I prefer the Super Skrull or the Walgreens, and I think I would go Walgreens because of the more retro kind of costume. And then Mezco, they giveth and they taketh, because visually their thing looks incredible. And what really sells him is all the different accessories, the fedora, the trench coat, the sunglasses, the Yancey Street light post that you can bash people over the head with. That's wonderful. But he doesn't have an ankle rocker, which is just, Mezco, come on, man. You're a premium company and you can't even have the thing, like, running? Big thumbs down on that one. So, once again, a kit bash is in order. Walgreens thing with the Mezco accessories, now you got yourself something pretty special. And then, having done the full Fantastic Four team, you gotta have the little mascot, Herbie the Robot, who we only ever got once from Marvel Legends, but he came, of course, with the Walgreens figures, because back in the day, they crammed in a whole bunch of extra value. So that little Herbie, I think he came with Sue Storm. I'm pretty certain that was the case. He's great to have. And the Mezco one there as well. Honestly, Mezco's got more bells and whistles. I'm pretty sure he even has some light-up features too. But whichever one you go for, it's great to have that little guy on the team. Oh, I almost forgot while making this video. We have a brand new addition to the Fantastic Four roster with the Fantastic Four She-Hulk that was just recently revealed. I would have kicked myself if I published this video and forgot to add that. I mean, how could I forget? She's literally wearing the Fantastic Four costume. Got a nice ponytail head sculpt as well. I really dig that. So for someone who's pretty much an honorary member of the Fantastic Four family, you definitely need to add her to the collection. Otherwise, the Marvel Legends police will come knocking at your door and be like, Marvel Legends police, open up! We hear you haven't got the Fantastic Four She-Hulk. You're nicked, you slag. It's been a while since I did the Marvel Legends police. Now, I would be remiss if I wasn't to mention the replacement Fantastic Four, just a great staple of the 90s that's still referenced back to this day. So, when the Fantastic Four weren't around to do their duties, we had the fill-in team of The Amazing Spider-Man, Joe Fixit, Ghost Rider, and Wolverine. And honestly, there's just something so wonderfully 90s about this team. It encourages so much kind of nostalgia on my part. It's really fun to put these guys together. So, of course, the one Spider-Man to go to is going to be Maximum Spider-Man. That sort of goes without saying. That's the premier Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Then for Wolverine, he was usually in his civilian suit during this Fantastic Four team-up. So we got a couple of options. There's an old cowboy Wolverine, or there's the more modern one that came in the Sabretooth 2-pack. Neither are a perfect representation, but it's certainly close enough. Then for Joe Fixit, well, we just got a beautiful deluxe Joe Fixit in the full gangster pinstripe suit. Absolutely brilliant. And then rounding out the team, of course, we got the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. Nothing screams 90s like Danny Ketch on the bike with the shield on the front. And of course, Marvel Legends gave us a fantastic version of that just last year. So put these guys together, boom, perfect replacement Fantastic Four. Now, obviously, I've been talking about the Skrull Wave Fantastic Four in their more modern suits. Well, we've got a few more modern characters to go with them. First of all, the young'uns, the next generation of the Fantastic Four. We had a 2-pack of Franklin and Valeria Richards. So these came with a whole bunch of accessories as well. Little Moleman head in a jar, I think. Don't know where that comes from. I haven't read that story, but kind of bizarre and fun. So with the rest of the accessories, with the lab equipment and all those little bits and pieces, it's really fun to round out the team with. So together, they make a nice set. And there's one more 2-pack as well with the modern suits, and that, of course, is Wolverine and Spider-Man in their Fantastic Four black and blues. They're pretty basic figures, and I'll put my hand up and say I've not read the story where these guys are in these more modern costumes, but they're quite striking with their looks. So if you want to be a completionist, you can pick these guys up as well. If we want to go outside the box a little bit, and this is a little bit, we've got the Future Foundation Stealth Spider-Man suit. Such a weird random release from Marvel Legends. So for a time in the comic books, the Fantastic Four name was being phased out because Marvel, Disney were super petty, and if they didn't own the film rights, they didn't want to produce the comics either. So Fantastic Four was canned, and it was the Future Foundation, with Spider-Man replacing the recently deceased Johnny Storm. Don't worry, he got better. But he wore this cool black and white costume, as did the rest of the Future Foundation. So Marvel Legends thought, hey, let's do that costume in the reverse colors that no one asked for. And we won't do the rest of the team either. It's been about 5 years now. Still waiting on the original team. Never gonna happen. But hey, if you want to be a super completionist, you can always get that Future Foundation Stealth Spider-Man. So random. So those are the key Fantastic Four main family characters. But oh boy, there's a whole lot of supporting characters and villains as well. I'm going to tell you about just a few of them. So first of all, there's the Beyonder. The Fantastic Four, they're always based around exploring the great unknown, the cosmos, the microverse. Well, guess what? That's where the Beyonder makes his home. Not the microverse, just everywhere. So with the recent Beyonder figure we got, he's a good kind of cosmic tie-in for the Fantastic Four. Then, speaking of cosmic, we're going to go over to Terrax, and of course he opens up a big door for Galactus and his heralds. Of course, we're going to get there. But Terrax was recently re-released, and he's a big, chunky, intimidating-looking character. Because when you got the Thing on the team, you want to have him going up against other big bruisers. Speaking of which, of course, I could list a whole bunch of his regular sparring partners, like Hulk and Juggernaut, but we could be here all day if we go too far. But certainly Terrax, he is very much a Fantastic Four character. Then, High Evolutionary. And of course, High Evolutionary actually came out in the Fantastic Four Retro Wave. So of course, he is a Fantastic Four character. Lots of ties to the Animal Men and all this kind of thing. So he's a good big bad for the Fantastic Four to go up against. Then we got Psycho Man, the other member of the Fantastic Four Retro Wave, and they did a good job with him. I liked all the additional sculpting that went into creating this character. He's one of those ones where you wonder if they would do him or not, because you can't really reuse anything. That is specifically Psycho Man, but they did a real nice job with it, so I kind of dig that. Going back out to the cosmos, we've got Blaster, who I think was re-released again quite recently. I lose track. There's so many, and the old noggin, it ain't what it used to be. In fact, I got a big old goose egg from bumping my head this morning. Can you see it? Hopefully. Hopefully it's not too obvious. But Blaster, again, Big Bad Bruiser. I love my chunky figures. He's another one of them. Then after Blaster, we can go over to Kang the Conqueror. And Kang, you got a super deluxe version released recently with his big gold throne. Kang being a descendant of Reed Richards from the future, or is he from the past? Because he's all over the place in the time stream. So yeah, you can pick up the more deluxe version that just came out. He's going to look fantastic on your shelf. Then we can go over to some allies with the Inhumans, and we've got a whole bunch going on here. So first of all, the King of the Inhumans, Black Bolt. We got a decent old Marvel legend, but he is kind of in need of an upgrade, I do feel. And if you want an upgrade, you could always go for the Mezco as well, which does look kind of pretty and also comes with a gorgeous looking Lockjaw as well, which of course takes me over to the Crystal and Lockjaw 2-pack. So you could always pick that up. Lockjaw, he's a big doggy. He's a good boy. I can't help but love that. And we can't forget there's also Medusa as well. And Medusa, just like the Marvel Legends Black Bolt, could really benefit from having a new version of her added to the team. Hopefully we might see that one day with a whole bunch of hair that you can move around and pose. That would be great fun. Then, of course, we have the biggest big bad of the Fantastic Four. It's Doctor Doom. Maybe not literally the biggest. We're going to cover him last. But still, Reed Richards' biggest nefarious kind of rival villain. And Doctor Doom, he has a whole bunch of action figures worthy of the grandeur of Doom. Of course, we got a couple of Marvel Legends. The original one from the Super Skrull wave, absolutely beautiful. Then going over, they've got a retro one, which has much brighter green colors. And then finally, they got the Cabal 3-pack, which is probably the ultimate Marvel Legends Doom, with the soft goods cape and a whole bunch of accessories and a Doombot head as well. So if you wanted to, you could get a couple of those, a couple of other Dooms, and army build yourself some Doombots. Yeah, that's going to be expensive, but come on, it's the King of Latveria. I'm sure he can foot the bill. Also, speaking of Doombots, if you want to go back into time, you can get some Toy Biz Doombots. But you better be ready to break the bank, because those things are expensive. But then again, I mean, come on, what else are you going to spend your money on? Put a loan on the house, get some Doombots, treat yourself. People say I'm a bad influence. Now we got the man who's always after the affections of the Invisible Woman. It is Prince Namor. And we got a couple of versions as well. We got the super retro one in his green swimming trunks. And then we got the more modern one in his kind of surfer looking sort of gear. At least that's how I see it. They're both kind of nice. I just feel like the legs feel a bit too sort of stocky for a swimmer. I feel like he needs more of a bespoke sculpt, just for him, a bit more athletic looking. I don't know, maybe I'm overanalyzing it. Whichever one you want to get though, modern or retro, they both look pretty decent. Now what we're going to do right here is go back, way back into time. Because that's what we have to do if we want to get ourselves a Moleman. We got to go way back to the old Toy Biz ones, I do believe. Normally I wouldn't be mentioning such old figures, but Moleman is an intrinsic part of the original Fantastic Four story and Marvel Legends. Where is he? We're still waiting. Hopefully they will fix that one of these days. But a Moleman is going to be very expensive to get your hands on that one, so maybe just hold fire. You know we'll get him eventually. Now we got one that might be a bit of a heartbreaker, and that is Annihilus. I think Annihilus was the first Hasbro Marvel Legends builder figure. I'm going to have to double check that one, but I'm pretty sure that that's the case. And he is a big, terrifying, colorful, awesome alien dude. I say alien. He's from the microverse, isn't he? I'll double check that one. I do get very confused. Then again, that would still make sense to be an alien, wouldn't it? And if you want to get a more modern one, then maybe there might be a Marvel Select figure coming out, but we don't know. He was on the cusp. He was on the cusp of being released. And then Diamond Select went into bankruptcy, and everyone who was waiting for their Annihilus were in limbo at the moment. It's Schrodinger's action figure. Does it exist? Does it not? Who knows? Time will tell. Could you imagine if they don't release it? But there are obviously ones that have been made. That might be a new future most expensive action figure ever made. But we don't know. Fingers crossed. You might still get your hands on him. Time will tell. Releasing later this year, we have the Direct Order Dragon Man. This one is super fun because I love Marvel Legends being all different shapes and sizes, and Dragon Man is a beast. And of course, being a bright purple dragon, oh, that's going to dominate your shelf in the best way possible. That's going to look amazing. So I'm kind of envious of anyone who has a Dragon Man. I didn't order one myself. Money in space. Simple as that. But I love the look of him, and later this year, he's going to be hitting people's shelves. Maybe yours. Keeping things cosmic and pretty godlike as well, we have The Molecule Man. Was released a couple of years ago, back in the dark days of Marvel Legends with the plastic-free packaging. Well, hey, once you get him out of all that cardboard and the weird paper body bags they used to come in, remember those? Well, when you take him out of those, you've actually got a pretty decent-looking Molecule Man. Got ourselves a big boy now with the Super Skrull Build-A-Figure. This is one that I like, but I don't love, because this is the Super Skrull. He could have been a whole lot bigger and just more fun, more stuff going on. Nonetheless, though, he does still show off the main powers. He's got the slightly translucent arm, stretchy thing, rock going on, and a little flame effect, but I just feel like a more animated, over-the-top, crazy-looking Super Skrull. That'd be so much fun to see, but I need to stop daydreaming about that. And now we got the big finish for the Fantastic Four. It is Galactus and all the associated characters. So, of course, we got the big G himself, the HasLab. Huge, big, gigantic, and absolute crown jewel of the Marvel Legends display. I don't need to tell you anything you don't already know. Absolutely phenomenal. Love, love, love that HasLab Build-A-Figure. But of course, he comes with his associated characters. So, the Silver Surfer. The HasLab came with a Surfer, but also you could always get the old one that one was based on from Walgreens. And also, there's a fallen Silver Surfer, this beautiful obsidian-looking one. But actually, that look of the Surfer isn't really tied in with the Fantastic Four so much. So I wouldn't really focus on that. I'd go for the more classic kind of look. And then we can step outside the Marvel Legends bubble a little bit and go back to Select with their Select Watcher. Because, I mean, come on. I'm surprised that Hasbro still haven't jumped on this. Yes, we've got the Disney Plus version, but where's the big head toga-wearing guy in 616 style? Well, luckily, the Marvel Select figure scales beautifully. Being a little bit bigger than 1/12 scale, it actually works perfectly for your watcher in that display. And folks, that does it for my pretty comprehensive list of Fantastic Four characters that you need for the Ultimate Marvel Legends /Select/Mezco Fantastic Four display. Folks, what did you think about this video, about the characters listed, and who do you feel deserve to be on this list that doofus over here forgot all about? Man, I'm still glad I caught that She-Hulk. Comment below, let me know. And gang, if you enjoy these videos, then you got a whole bunch of people to thank. And those are the channel members. They support the channel and give me the time to be able to make all these videos. So guys, thank you so much. And if you want to get a channel membership, then when you do, you can enjoy all the daily live streams that I do for channel members. So guys, thank you so much for your support. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior. I'm running away from home. My dad won't get me a model behavior channel membership. Oh man, that sucks. I don't want to live in that house anymore. I'm gonna hit the road and... Hey, did you just say that your dad refuses to get you a model behavior channel membership? How about I go over to your house and beat your dad around the head until he agrees to get you a membership? Oh man, I can't believe I didn't think of that. Yeah, just say I'll crack open a can of whoop-ass on him if he refuses. Oh man, you'd do that, Bumblebee? Come on, let's go beat your dad like he owes me money.
The Transformers!
Big time.